Less than 10 people. All right. It's where the sheep live. Less than 10. Hey, so we're talking about shapes here. Uh, and the parts of the shapes, naming of the shapes, all that type of good stuff that's there. So, first of all, we've got these things that are called faces, um, edges, vertex. All right, the plural form of vertex is vertices. I think I spelled it right, but the main thing is we don't say vertexes. All right, we have vertices. But yeah, nets are shapes that fold up. We're going to get into those definitions in a moment, but let's look at this first example. So we call these nets because it's a three-dimensional shape that's unfolded, and the idea is a net can be folded into a three-dimensional shape. So they're asking like, hey, which ones can you fold? Well, we try to visualize like if we fold this up, we fold this up, we fold this over, all that kind of stuff. So we'll have them in the classroom for you to kind of see and to kind of get a better visual as we look down to it there. So let's keep on going here. Here we go, nets here. All right. So some of the names that we're looking at here. So for example, this guy over here, all right, this is a cone, all right, because it's got a circle on the bottom, a circle on the top, and it's a rectangle that wraps around it. The idea is if you take apart that three-dimensional shape, that's what you'd be dealing with here. So take a look at this guy in the lower left-hand corner. That is letter D, which is a square pyramid, because we have that square that's on the bottom, and then if you fold them up, they all meet at a point, and that's where pyramids end up doing. So we'll go a bit further here. Here we go. This is going to kind of generalize things that are here. So is it a prism or a pyramid? Well, this is a prism. Now, why is it a prism? Take a look at all these guys. What shapes are all those? Well, they are all rectangles. So in a prism, you have a shape on the bottom, you have a shape on the top, and then you have rectangles wrapping all around it there. The shape of the base, all right, you're always going to have the two that match up because, again, they are the same on the top and the bottom. We can count the number of sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. So that is a pentagon. So when we put it together, a pentagon for the base, it's a prism. It's what we call a pentagonal prism. We kind of use that ending, that AL ending that we're looking at. And then let's look off to the right-hand side that's here. Here, we don't have lots of rectangles. We've got lots of triangles, and you can see them here. So because we've got all those triangles, that's what makes it a pyramid. If you fold it on up, all right, they're all going to meet at the points, and there's going to be triangles wrapping around it. We still need the shape of the base. All right, so that's the guy that's in the middle here. So that is a square. So we can put the two together. This is a square pyramid. And that's how we go about naming our three-dimensional shapes that we're looking at. All right, so more of the same, prisms here, all right? Same shape for top and bottom, and it's got rectangles wrapping around it, whereas pyramids only have one base, and it's gonna have triangles that wrap around the shape. Again, examples here. We're going to get into these faces, edges, and vertices in a moment. Here's all the names of your shapes, all right, based on the number of sides. The big thing here is these four-sided shapes. There's lots of names that go with four-sided shapes. You've met the rectangle and the square. Well, we've also talked about your parallelogram this year, all right? The trapezoid is in there. There's something called a kite, all right? Lots of different shapes. But like I said, you've got to get a specific name from it. We won't be seeing a lot of those odd ones that are there. I shouldn't say odd. That's kind of awkward to say. You shouldn't worried about seeing any ones that we have not kind of come across a lot. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to anger you with saying that there are odd shapes there. But anyway, all right. Yeah. So here we go. All right, so let's take a look at this here. So we're talking about the name of this particular shape. Well, I see it's meeting at a point, so that tells me it's a pyramid, and the shape at the bottom has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, that makes it a hexagon. So we've got ourselves a hexagonal pyramid. All right. Faces, edges, and vertices. Faces are your flat surfaces. So if we can kind of visualize it, we've got the one that's on the bottom, and then wrapping around it, because it's a hexagon, that means that 6 sides, well, we're going to have 6 that are wrapping around it. So 6 wrapping around it, and the one that's on the bottom gives me a grand total of 7. Your edges. Your edges are what looks like your line segments. So if we look at the bottom here, it's a hexagon. We're going to have 6, all right? And then we're also going to have 6 that are going up as well. So that gives me a grand total of 12. And again, I could go ahead and count my 6 and say 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We can do that, but we'd rather you try to visualize it. And then your vertices. Your vertices are your points. They are your corners. All right. Yeah, they do look like points. Yeah, no, I said that. They look like points. Yeah. So your corners, your points there. So because it's a hexagon, there's 6 that are at the bottom, and then there's the one that's up at the top, which makes a grand total of 7. Okay. Let's go and find someone else to work with here. Oh, let's go back up. Let's hit the guy that's right next to it. All right. This is what we call a triangular prism. Prism, because it's got the same shape on the top and the bottom. It's got the rectangles wrapping around it, and they're triangles on the top. So yes, triangular prism. All right. Faces, those flat surfaces. So we got the one on the top, we've got the one on the bottom. Because it's triangular, that tells me that there's 3 that are wrapping around. So 3 plus the 2, that gets me to my 5 faces. The edges, okay, well, there's 3 that are at the top because your edges are your line segments. There are 3 that are at the bottom, and there are 3 that connect. 3, 3, 3. Hello, 9. And then vertices. Remember, these are your corners. So I've got the 1, 2, 3 that's at the bottom. I got the 1, 2, 3 at the top. So I'm going to have a grand total of 6 that we're looking at. So again, being able to visualize is part of what we're working on here. Let's keep on going and see what else is here. A little naming that's there. We're good on that. Ooh, let's look at 4. Let's look at 4. Name it, name it, name it, name it. Well, more triangles or more rectangles? Yeah, more triangles. So that tells me it's going to be a pyramid. And then what shape is the base? Hello, there you are. So it's a 5-sided, so that goes on in front. Again, pentagonal because of the 5 sides we're looking at. Question 3 to the left sometimes throws students off a little bit. All right. No, not the cats always get this one correct. That's there. If we look at do we have more triangles or rectangles? It's a close call, but there are actually more rectangles that are there. So that tells me it's a prism. So the other 2 shapes that are left over, well, they're both triangles. So that makes it a triangular prism. Right. So a lot of this is just kind of seeing, all right, repetition that we're looking at. And you know what? That just goes into more of the same what we saw that's on the list. And yeah, people, that's it. Lesson 11 is going to be surface area, but we're not ready for that yet. It's time for me to go. We'll see you later.